Hey, Go Schools, non-binary fools. What's up? Sorry, I had a bit of a stroke. Anyways, today I want to talk about Julia and Reed's relationship and try to keep this one under an hour because believe me, I tried recording a different one. It was an hour long. I got a little distracted talking about the way that they would interact with each other during class. Anyways, um, I want to talk about. I want to keep this limited to 3 major moments and 3 minor moments, or less major moments in their relationship, right? Like the very first one, the very most important one, them meeting, right? And sort of the way that they start their stuff together, you know? Oh god. Oh god, how do I even frame this one? Okay, so when Julia and Reed first meet, it's just by happenstance. They are a friend of circumstance, you know? Like, left to their own, I don't think they would have ever actually met. You know, Reed probably thought about her once and was like, she's just an airheaded idiot. Moves on. All he needs to know is summed up in that. Anyways. Oh god. Ugh. Okay. Let me focus. Okay. So, when the two of them are like, oh god, existing, right, when they meet for math, right, it kind of clocks him that she's dumb, she's an idiot, but she's also much kinder, right? Like, I don't even know how to describe it. Okay, so when they first meet, they meet for like a project that's going to take them most of the semester, right? All right, it's assigned middle of the first quarter, and they are just stuck together through happenstance, right? They are the last two to be picked because Rita was in the bathroom and nobody wanted an idiot for this major grade project, right? And so, Julia keeps when they're given the packet and describe the assignment and stuff, Rita's like, oh, it's really fine, you know, and she's just like, oh my god, I'm gonna fail him. I'm gonna fail. You know? And, okay. Oh god. And so, Julia and Reed sit across from each other as they do this, they start this assignment together. Right? And Reed is plowing through it. They haven't even covered some of this stuff, most of this stuff. And he's plowing through it. He's like, yeah, this is fine, you know? He's like, whatever, this is the same concept, but more, you know? And, well, Reed is watching Julia and she's freaking out. She's stuck on the first problem of the first page. And she looks like she's about to cry. And he's like, does she not know this? Right? And for the first time in a very long time, he sort of takes a risk. He looks at her and he says, right, when the bell rings, he's like, we can meet during lunch and I can help you out. And she just melts. She's like, oh, she's just like, no one, thank you, you know? She's like, thank you. And he's just cringing at it. And he's like, don't say thank you. It's fine. She's like, right, yes, okay, right. You know, trying to figure, working around the word thank you and stuff like that. But, you know, bell rings, they meet for lunch. They meet for lunch later, and he's like, oh, you know nothing, right? She's like, right, they meet up, and she's like, I'm gonna be straight up, she's like, I don't really know, any of this at all. I'm so sorry. It's like, don't say sorry, it's fine. And she's like, right, okay, you know? And lunch bell rings, and he's like, meet me at, he's like, did you bring your car? And she's like, no. And he's like, fine, okay. Meet me at blank side of the corridor. Or like, he's like, meet me at the front. He's like, meet me at the front desk, or like outside the office, like front desk office thing, whatever, you know. And she's like, okay. And he's like, and she's like, where are we going? And I don't fucking know, right? Just don't even. Let me be quick. Oh my god. He's like to her, we're gonna go to the public library. We'll just do this together after school, you know. And she's like, she's just trying to very hard, so like not to be like thank you and stuff, you know. And she just nods, and she goes on, and it turns out they share a couple classes together, like the 4 core classes: science, math, English, that like 3 core, you know, don't even talk to me. Science, math, English, and 2 extracurriculars of home ec and art, right? Because like Reed's like found no way around it, and he's like stuck taking art, and for some reason stuck taking home ec, which is sort of like health class, you know, that sort of thing. Anyways, right? And that's when we kind of move into like the first minor scene, which is like, it's the 2 of them, it's home ec, and they've given the fake baby, you know, the fake baby thing that they do that I've never seen done before because I'm a loser. And apparently it's something that only really used to exist in like the 90s and 80s and stuff to scare off pregnancies or whatever. Show how hard it would be to take care of a child. But anyways, right? So Julia's like paired up with him because now that they're paired, like now that she's like, oh, you'll help me. Can you always please be my partner, right? You know, that sort of thing. Right? And so they pair up together, and she is so excited for this fake baby, you know. She's like, oh my god, I'm so excited, we should name him Timothy, or you know, like stuff like that, you know. She's like, we'll put it in baby clothes, and he's just like, yeah, just sure, is there anything you need me to do, right? You know, he's like trying to find the parameters and find a way that like it works and stuff. Right? And I imagine, you know, I can't decide whether or not I want it to be where, like, there's this program to die to represent SIDS, or if, like, she's, like, or, like, it's kind of like an imitation relationship, like a hint at their, like, future relationship and stuff or whatever, where it's, like, Reed's a pretty good dad, Julia's, like, pretty great mom, and they, like, they do a good job, you know, they do a good job. Like, I feel like that'd be super cute. Anyways, so that's like minor scene, like 1, it's just them existing, like the different projects together, right? And so we have minor scene 2, right? Where it's, God, I can't decide what I want it to be. I have no idea how to integrate certain stuff that I'll leave for like a next video. Anyways, but I feel like this one's pretty minor, maybe, right? There's some way or another, right? At this point, Julia and Reed are like friends enough that they go to each other's house all the time and stuff, you know? And so, God, I can't decide, right? Because I have so many like minor major moments, like minor scenes in between, like them, oh my god, like them being friends and like doing the whole friend thing and like the lunch thing, or like just a thing, so many things. Well, anyways, I imagine that for like the second one, I feel like a pretty major minor event would be like the moment sort of that that, oh god, like, like, I don't know, after maybe a particularly hard day, or maybe after a day where the two of them are finding it troublesome to sleep, having a hard time to go to sleep. This is the first time we see them at the diner, right? Like, God, I don't know how to explain it. Just the diner. You know, it's a diner in town. And one night he's like, "Hey, do you?" He's like, Are you up? Do you want to go somewhere?" And she's like, "Yes." It doesn't matter that it's 3 a.m. It doesn't matter that they have school tomorrow. She says yes. And so he swings by her place, and they go off towards the diner. And I feel like this would be like the first time, sort of like, God, I don't even know. And it was just like, Julia's like, "Oh wow, I've never been here before." And he's like, "Really?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh, this is fun. I hope." Right? And she is so happy to be there. Right? She's like, "I have no idea what's going on." Right? And because she's like mega fucking rich, like stinking rich, she's like, "It's okay. I'll cover tip. I'll cover this." And he's just like, you know, he's really squippy about it. She's like, "It's fine. It's okay. You should save your money for like actual shit. You know, this is fine. I can take care of this." I don't think he'd let her pay, but I feel like he'd maybe let her tip. Right? Because Julie has like no idea how mathing works. Like, oh god. Right? Like they get their food, they talk, and like maybe the morning waitress is like, they're like, "Oh man, I don't know. I feel like I want them to be mistaken for like a couple because I feel like it'd be cute, you know." They're like, "Oh, you know, like that super cutesy milkshake scene where it's like the two of them between a straw, and like there's just a cute cherry on top, and it's pink, and it's like, it's, you know, the cute thing, the cute." Right? So like I imagine that they get that, right? And he's like, "Ah," and she's like, "So do you want it, or And he's like, "Well, I mean, if you want it, you know." They're super awkward about it because like they're not a couple, but they gave them this like coupley like drink. It is so cute, right? And oh god, how would we even start? Right, and they're like going back and forth on this sort of almost, and Julia's just like, "Well, I really like the cherry. Do you want the cherry? Can I have the cherry?" And he's like, "You can have the whole thing." And it's like, she's like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's fine." Right? You know, there's other stuff as he's like tapping shit and like it's like, I feel like he would shake his car with the amount of force he would like shake his leg, or like, you know what I mean, right? Like I don't even fucking know how to explain. Anyways, right? I feel like that'd be a super cute moment, like moment 2. You know, they're like cutesy together. It's the first time they're like doing something randomly at like 3 a.m. Right? Just like, and like afterwards, it's like a common thing. Like if they're both up, or like neither one of them is tired, they'll just go to the diner. I feel like that'd be super cute. Okay, and then we have major event 2, right? The catalyst. We have catalyst moment, right? Where like Julia gets pushed down the hill by Reed because Ramona paid him to do it, and she you know, like that scene where like Ramona goes to Reed, she pays him to push Julia down the hill at sunset, right? It's like at sunset you're gonna push her down the hill, and you know, stuff like that, right? He uses his money. I was like, "Oh, that's not bad." She doesn't specify anything, right? He takes money, and she then specifies, "You have to wait till after sunset to go get her. You have to have her count to 100 screaming, right? Make her lose her voice, and you cannot go help her," or like something like that, you know, like a couple stipulations that make it like a little worse for him. But now that he's got the money, he feels like he can't go back, you know. right? And oh god, oh my god, I just want to like do a thing, you know? The pit and the pendulum fucked me up with existential crisis. We don't have to get into it. Anyways, oh god, someone help me focus. Alright, right, so major event 2, right, the catalyst scene sort of thing, right? I don't even know how to phrase it, form it even. Right, so Reed has her counting to 100. She gets to, right, he takes her glasses, he blindfolds her, he has her count to 100, right? And like, as he's driving her there, it hurts even more because she's like, oh, you never want to show me anything. I'm so excited. And she's like, oh, geez, you seem so nervous. It's okay. I promise I'll like it, you know, being sweet, being very kind. As he's over there just like, I can't believe I have to do this to her. Like, well, you don't have to, but he definitely feels like he has to. Anyways, right? It just adds to the extra layer of hurt where it's like, oh god, she's expecting something good and I'm gonna push her down a damn hill. A steep hill. Right? That was the other stipulation I forgot to include. That's what it was. Anyways. Right? And right? So he pushes her down this hill and he is agonizing, waiting and waiting and like she is calling for him and it's hoarse and it's scratchy and it hurts for her to do so, right? Oh god, I skipped over something. Okay, right? And so he pushes her down the hill, right? And he's watching her like get scratched and cut up and bruised and sort of just scratched at and torn at, ripped at, you know, all those mean adjectives, where like he's watching her start to bleed and she's crying and she's like flailing, trying so hard to grab onto something as she's falling down this hill blindfolded. And Reed's just like, he can't even tear himself away enough to not watch as like her skirt gets ripped up and her pantyhose are like now covered in blood and dirt and, you know, stuff like that. I don't know, but right, and she's like crying, right, when she finally gets down to the bottom. She sort of lays there for a moment and he's worried that she's like severely injured, severely hurt. And then she sits up and she just starts sobbing, right? She's like, she doesn't start sobbing quite yet. She's like, she's calling for him and he can't answer her until sunset, right? And it's just like, he's like, fuck, I have to wait like 20 minutes or something, you know, right? Like she takes off the blindfold and she's calling for him and she's trying so hard and then she just stops and she starts crying and he's just like internally he's just like fuck, and he's just like cussing at himself because like he did this because like he had to do this and now he's done it and it makes him feel like the worst, which honestly if someone did that to me, yeah, you would be the worst. I would never talk to you again if you pushed me down a hill on purpose and waited to come save me. Right, like it's another thing if you like scratch me or cut me or something and it's like, did you do it on purpose? What was the context? Was it an accident? If it's an accident, it's fine. I don't give a fuck. Body who? Like, yeah. Oh no, you cut me once? Be like me. Aim higher. Be a fucking serial killer. I don't even know if that makes sense what I'm saying right now. It's like 2 a.m. I don't even know. Okay, anyways, right? So she's very much crying for him, right? And she's calling for him, and eventually, right? She's got like he's got like 5 minutes left. It's almost there. He's almost there, and she just stops, and she just cries and cries, and she doesn't bother calling for him anymore. She just starts crying, and it's hurting him to watch. And finally, he can go get her. and he like picks her up and he takes her up the hill again, and he's like, I'm sorry, are you okay, you know, can you stand, are you all right? And she won't even speak to him, she won't even look at him, right? She's just, right, and like he gives her back his he gives her back her glasses, and she can see again, and she's just crying, and she looks like a mess, and it's so out of character for her to look like that, or to even not start talking, you know? Anyways, right? And he takes her to the nearest drugstore, and as they're kind of getting there, she's like, is this another trick? Are you gonna leave me here? You know? And she's like, I'm so stupid, I didn't even ask you anything. I thought you wouldn't be like that. And he knows what she's doing. It's like, you know, Ramona, she figured that this is like a Ramona thing to do, and then it clicks with her, you know. Did she pay you? Did she pay you to do this? Did you take that money? You know, that sort of thing. And he's just gripping the steering wheel. He won't answer, but there's guilt there nonetheless, and one that she can almost instantly recognize. And she just stops talking, right? And she stares out the window, and they park into this parking lot, and he starts to get up, like to unbuckle and stuff, and to leave, and she holds on to him, and she's just, please don't. And he decides, and he's like, oh, I need to go grab you something. Do you want to come with me? And she nods, and he's, and you know, gentle and sweet. He's like, all right, but I'm gonna need you to let me go. I will be right here. All right, you can watch me through the window. It's okay. All right, you know. All right, and he comes to get her, and like they're going into like. I mean, they came from a very different scene to an even more, like, the transition from sobbing in that car, covered in wounds, to suddenly being in this well-lit, bright, like, just bland music playing in the background sort of place, as Reed holds her hand, and takes her to, like, the first aid, and she looks up for a moment, and she notices that, like, she looks like garbage. There's blood, there's dirt, grass stains, she's starting to bruise, and she's bleeding, and some of it's swelling, and like there's like random red spots that she knows by tomorrow will probably be a bruise. And she stares at the floor. She can't stand the sight of herself. And so, right, like Reed's taking her through that and all that good stuff. Right, and they get into the car again. And she just starts, right, and she looks up to herself, right, she looks down again, and slowly there's this anger building, like it's new emotion she's never really felt before, right, it's building up in her, this just raw, mean anger, and even then, she's not exactly sure how to express this, right? Alright, and so like they're standing at the checkout and stuff, and what sets her off for sure is a comment some cashier is going to make, right? Like maybe they don't mean to like say, like be mean about it and stuff, but like the comment just takes her, you know? And the cashier says to her, what happened to you? And she just stares at the ground, and she just goes, nothing. I fell. And he's like, what, down a cliff? Jesus. And she just sighs, and neither one of them speak as he pays and leaves, and she just walks off the other direction. He's like, where are you going? And she's like, I can't be around you right now. right? She's upset and she's angry, and like, tears are welling again, but instead of the tears of before, they are burning hot as they just fall down, and she's walking off and she's crying again, angrily so, which is something that he hasn't seen her be before, angry and crying. Right? She's got her fist clenched and she's holding onto her skirt, and she's just trying to breathe, and oh god, it's gonna take forever to on it. And sorry, this one's gonna be like a whole episode. Anyways, and he like catches up with her, and he like takes her hand, or like he sort of like grabs her or whatever. He's like, at least let me take care of you. All right, it's the least I could do. She's like, yeah, of course it is. Like it doesn't take a lot at this point. I don't feel like, right? Because Reed knows he's in the wrong, to sort of get like that ouch sort of thing, right? That look down of shame. Anyways, he's like, just let me patch you up, let me take you home. And she's like, fine, right? She's starting to cry again, sad, right? The anger's worn off. It's too quick of an emotion to keep for very long. And she just starts crying again, and she's like, fine. Right? And so he's like, I'm gonna need you to, I have to check everywhere. And she's like, everywhere? And he's like, most places. And she's like, right. And so she's like wiggling out of her dress, stuck in her underdress, and like her petticoat and like her like stuff, like whatever decided to have her on. And right, and he's like, there's more bruises forming, more random cuts, and for some reason there's like rocks lodged somewhere, there's like dirt stuck in her hair, all that good jazz, and it fills him with so much guilt. But he still takes care of her, and she does as he asks, and helping along the way, and they get back to the car and they drive off in silence, thick, heavy, maybe not so much awkward, but it is filled with tension, right? And so, as they're driving off, right, she's like sort of breaking down again, and she just starts crying again, like sobbing, and she's like, I'm sorry, right? Like confusedly, she's saying I'm sorry, and she's sobbing, and he just keeps driving. He says it's okay, and they keep going, right? And after a while, she stops, and instead of sobbing still, she just stares off into the distance until the question that's there comes, and she says it. She finally says it. And she says, how much did she pay you? And he just squeezes the steering wheel, and she asks him again, how much did she pay you? And he tells her, and she just looks away again. Another long stretch of silence as the two of them, as Reed continues to drive her home. And right, like maybe 500 or something, like a lot of money, or at least a lot to him, more than the typical job. And she looks at him, and she just looks outside again, and after a while she's like, I'll pay you double, just stay, please, don't leave me alone. And he just says, stop it, please. he's just stop. And she does, and he looks out, and she starts crying again. God, so much crying. But she starts crying again, and he just grips the steering wheel and steers ahead. He can't even bring himself to say anything. Right, and they're sort of entering like the neighborhood before her neighborhood or whatever. She's fallen asleep against the window, and she looks so peaceful despite being an absolute wreck. Right, and then he gets to her house. He's unsure of whether or not to wake her, and so maybe with a bit of hope and a bit of ignorance and much regret, he decides to leave her sleeping. So he picks her up and takes her inside, and leaves her in her bed or whatever. He's not creepy. He's not gonna like change her out of her clothes or whatever. He's just gonna put her in her bed, maybe throw a blanket over her, and stand and decide with whether or not he should stay and where should he be staying. Because I feel like it would kind of like really like he's probably not gonna really want to like stay there, but if he leaves, he's gonna feel worse, right? So I feel like for a hot minute, he'll just like hop into his car, commit some self-punishment, as you do, bandage himself up. Maybe he'll leave it to bleed. He'll probably bandage himself up. And when he is finally finished, he just turns off his car again, and he walks inside, and he locks the door behind him, and he just passes out somewhere, like maybe not in her room, but maybe like sort of outside of it or something. I don't know. I can't decide. I want it to be adorable in this sort of way. It's just like maybe he's fallen asleep in the chair by her room, maybe a rocking chair, which I feel like is something she would have. And oh god, oh, fuck. Okay, I got this. I can focus. And he's there for the night, and when she wakes up, she does want it to be nothing more than a bad dream, but seeing as she's been left in her dirty clothes and bandages all around, the low ache of all of her muscles just after being pounded by the ground, right? It takes her a minute to get up, and I imagine Reed's probably fallen asleep with her glasses in his hands, right? He probably forgot to take them off the first time around. He's like, oh shit, this probably is not something you're supposed to do, right? And, for a minute, I'm pretty sure she's not exactly sure how to feel. So instead, she gets up and she's like, where are my glasses? That's when she sort of notices the fuzzy, blurry, silhouette of Reed. And she has to get real close and kind of squint and glare and stare. And she's like, oh, there are my glasses. It's in his hand. Right? And so she grabs them, and she's sort of happy that he's there, still there, despite the fact that he probably would have left he probably wouldn't have left, but I don't know, man. I don't know. She's just happy that he's there. Right? She's happy that he's there and that he's remembered to take her glasses off. That's not something she typically mentions, but her glasses bug her when she tries to lay down and stuff. She has to take them off. Right? It's so nice. Right? And it's her turn to be unsure of whether or not of what she should be doing, right? She stands there for a bit and is like, she's sort of like, and she decides against it. She decides to not wake him up. She'll leave him to wake up on his own. Well, maybe not. She might wake him up and be like, I know you're probably really tired, but do you have work? 'Cause it's like 9, right? And he's like, oh, no, wait, no, noon shift. I can be there later. And she's like, hooray, you know, that sort of stuff. And it catches him much by surprise, the fact that she's not super angry at him. I don't know, man. Right? Like, that's a good moment. And then we have minor moment 3. I feel like it would be them ice skating, because I decide what are the pseudo dates here. All right, it's my turn to decide, and I say that they're gonna go ice skating. Right? Oh my god, I imagine them going ice skating would be so fucking hectic, right? I imagine that because, oh my god, it is Virginia. I can't say it would be Reed's first time, but it would definitely be Julia's first time doing that sort of thing. And she's like super struggling, and she's like, please don't leave me, oh my god, you know, like freaking out because she's like gonna fall on her ass done, right? And he's just like, it's fine, right? So he like takes her hands, and he's just like skating back, and she's like, how are you even doing that? It's like, it's fine, it's all right, just watch me, you know, just like giving her lessons and being super cute, because I decide the pseudo dates. And I say that they go ice skating, right? It's like a winter market, like a Christmas winter market or something, and they're like ice skating, and they're being super cute together. And she's like, this is actually pretty fun. And he's like, can I let go? She's like, absolutely not. Please hold my hand, right? And so he kind of like swings her around to his side, and they ice skate holding hands. People are like kind of staring. They're like, oh my god. We're like, oh my god, what a cute couple, you know, like that sort of thing, because you can't convince me that someone wouldn't like, are they a couple? Maybe, you know. Anyways, I imagine Julia dressed like kind of cute, sort of warm. She's adorable, trying to ice skate, and we just like jacket, jeans, done. I think it'd be kind of funny if she's like, I forgot you wear socks, and you know, just like having random conversation as they're like casually skating through, right? And like she'll stumble here and there, and he'll like maybe hold her a little tighter. Oh my god, it's sweet. It's sweet because I said so. And then we have major catalyst number 3. Anyways, because I can't focus too long, or this is going to be like an hour long again, and I said I would keep it under an hour. But like, you know what, maybe I'll just write a fic of them ice skating later, and I'll send it to you. Anyways, catalyst 3 that I feel like is super important to their relationship is not actually where they're shot, but the scene in the hospital when Reed goes to find her, right? It's after this whole ordeal. They're in the hospital together. Like, there's no reason why he would know where she's at or anything like that, right? There's no reason why he should be getting up anyways, or have the strength to. But despite this, right, he gets up, like holding on to his IV, willing himself over, and through sheer luck, or maybe through intuition, he finds her, right? He finds her somewhere else along the hospital, and he crawls, he's like so hurt that she looks like this. Like, he feels like through his own actions he's gotten her hurt again, and it fills him with so much guilt, but he's kind of out of it, that he just crawls into the bed together, and he sort of just like stays there, stares down at her, and is like, I love you, you know, super sweet stuff. I don't give a fuck. I decide. Actually, I do care. I need your opinion. That's why I'm recording these. Right? And he's like, I love you, right? he presumes that she's sleeping, and he's like, I love you, right? And he like sort of lays down next to her, and I don't know if she's exactly asleep or not, or if she's kind of like in and out of consciousness, unable to open her eyes, and so existent too. anyways um anyways oh god, right, he like lays down in bed with her, like he finds her, and like, and he takes her hand in his, right, interlocking their fingers, because you can't convince me that he wouldn't, especially when he thinks like she's sleeping, right? He's just like maybe more comfortable that way, just like interacting, sort of like, if that maybe the fact that like they'll have to at some point dwell on the fact that he's over there, just like, I love you, anyways, right, and so when the two of them wake up again, it's Julia first, right? And I feel like with this scene, I want to show the fact that it's no longer just Julia finding comfort in Reed. Reed is now finding comfort in her. And so, like, when he goes to find her and stuff, I want him to just, like, lean up against her a bit and just hold her hand and kind of, like, accidentally fall asleep there. And no one's really willing to move them because they look adorable, and you can't convince me otherwise. They would, and they do. Right, and like, no one will move them because they look adorable together, right? And anytime someone's tried to, she'll sort of just wake up and start crying and hold on to him a little more, like a little closer, and then, right? So no one bothers to move them, right? No one bothers to. They're just like, we'd rather not cause a scene today. We're busy doctoring, nursing, and so, right, like they're together in that bed, and when the two of them like wake up, like to lucidness and consciousness, it takes Reed a second to remember where he is, and like, this isn't the hospital. Is this mine? Why am I sharing a bed? Like that. And Julia's just like relieved, absolutely relieved, as she just sort of like melts up against him, and she just sighs into him. She's like, I love you too. And he's like, oh fuck, like, oh. Right, but like, it sort of melts up a little bit, because I decide so, and I can't help it. It's so cute. Anyways, he's like, and she's like, I love you too. And she'll like interlock their fingers or whatever, and he won't let go, and they'll lean in a little closer to each other and just stare out the window or something. That's crucial moment number 3. It's not the part where they get sent to the hospital, shot and dead, presumed dead. No, it's the part where they're cute and cuddle together. Anyways, good night, good morning, good afternoon, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.